The kind of wheel spin is crazy. That's 0 to 100 in 7.5 seconds faster than Hyundai's claim. Now, obviously, I'm having a downslope assist, but still, this is the fastest Creta. Let's start this video. This is the Hyundai Creta Electric. This is the long range. This is the top variant. And when compared to the regular petrol or diesel Creta, this car has got 32 changes and a few feature additions are part of those changes. And some of the features actually coming from the Alcazar. The key is the same as before. This is to lock the car, this is to unlock the car, this is to turn on the vehicle, and this is to open the boot of the car. But this key feels a bit old. Globally, Hyundai has got a new key, so Hyundai should offer that because this one kind of feels cheap and dated now. But before we start, let me show you this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve Elements Pro new car scent. Like the name suggests, it actually gives you a new car scent inside because it is a strong leathery smell which makes the car smell like fresh instantly. I absolutely love it. You can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM by clicking somewhere on the top right corner of the screen right now, or you can click the pinned comment to get it from Zepto in the next 10 minutes. Straight away, let's open the frunk. Even though this is not born electric, this car actually has some usable space here. Firstly, this is really very heavy, so they have definitely given it a lot of high strength steel. Yeah, I can actually do proper workout because the hood is extremely heavy. There's insulation here, which is not needed, but it's still there. And here you've got 22 liters of storage. Yes, it's a usable frunk right there. And the engine bay seems quite empty because the electric motor has been placed somewhere here. Yeah, you can see the orange high voltage cabling right there. That is the way the electric model has been done, because it says EV right here. Anyways, let me shut this and show you there are a lot of changes at the front. For starters, the DRLs are the same. However, the grille is different. Everything is closed. This car does not need to breathe. Actually, the battery definitely needs to breathe. So do the components. That's the reason it has got active air flaps. Yeah, these cooling air flaps actually open when the car needs to breathe. This is actually the radar for ADAS. You get parking sensors at the front. This is the charging port which does not open electrically. You have to open it manually. A good thing because electric things can definitely fail. Nah? So this is a good thing which Hyundai has done. And this is telling the charge status. This light illuminates. It also does DC charging, obviously up to 100 kilowatt, which is not activated on this car yet. It will come with an OTA update. Okay, this is not going to shut unless and until I shut the lower one first. Now the thing is that the position of the charging port is a bit wrong according to me, because front end collisions are more common. A slight nip and tuck or a kiss with the front car can damage this, so port should always be on the side as per me. Meanwhile, the camera has been shifted here. It gets this pixel treatment right here. In fact, the bumper has been revised too, because of which I think the length has increased by 10 mm. Meanwhile, this is the towing hook and there is an active air curtain right here. So aerodynamics is the name of the game. Dynamic swipe indicators. This is the low beam. This is the high beam. So the design is more or less the same as before, but more features have been added. This is actually a matte shade, which looks nice. There's also the option of dual tone colors, which is not available on this matte shade. Meanwhile, rain sensing wipers have been added now. There's a camera there for lane keep assist. Obviously, it gets low rolling resistant tires from Goodyear. Tire size 215/60/17. The alloy wheel design will remind you of a lot of Tata Motors EVs, because all EVs have to have these aero wheels for better aero efficiency. Meanwhile, there's a puddle lamp here which projects the H logo here at night. There's obviously a camera right there. In terms of width, it's the same as before. In terms of wheelbase, it's the same as before. So the wheelbase is almost 2.6 meters, slightly more than 2.6 meters, 2610 mm to be precise. The length has increased by 10 mm because of the bumper. Meanwhile, the height is increased by 20 mm, out of which 10 mm is going into the ground clearance. So the ground clearance has increased from 190 mm to 200 mm. However, I can see the battery pack from here. It is latkoing. Yes, the battery pack is right there, which is a little incomplete here. I'll show you behind why is it like that. There's no button as such for the request sensor, but there is a request sensor here, but no request sensor on the other side, which is something which Hyundai always does to cut costs. And coming to the rear, it actually gets a different rear spoiler. There's a shark fin antenna. Roof rails are not functional. It says caution. No, do not apply any load. High mounted stop lamp, rear wiper washer. Again, the continuous running treatment of the lights, dynamic swipe indicators, And because it's electric, it says electric here. Rear parking sensors, 4 of them, but Hyundai has actually revised the rear bumper. Again, the pixel treatment has been given, and now it has got not 1 but 6 freaking reverse lights. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The diesel or petrol has only 1 light here in the center, but this one has got 6. Again, pixel treatment right there. That is the camera. This is also LED. Everything in this car is complete LED. However, I'm not able to understand why there's so much open space right there. Can you see that? Yes, that is open. So they could have actually given it a much bigger battery, because it kind of abruptly ends in sort of the centerish place, and then you have a very hollow space right there. Obviously no exhaust, because this is electric, doesn't need any exhaust whatsoever. Let's open the boot, which is the same size as before, which is 433 liters, which is big enough. There's a subwoofer here, LED light right there, and the spare wheel. Well, how do I open it? I have to do it nice and carefully. Is full size, but it's not an alloy. Yeah, it's the same size as the regular wheel, but it's not an alloy. That is the jack. I don't know where Rose is. That joke has got so old, but I keep cracking it. I don't know why. Let's shut this. Now, in terms of the design, you know this is an electric Creta because of the wheels, obviously. And that's not all. When you step inside, you realize they have done certain good things to this car. For starters, this was always there before, and the door pockets are big enough. But no illumination on the switches, no one touch up down is there here either. Bose sound system, 8 speaker system. Meanwhile, the seat now reclines. Yes, 2-step recline. So that makes it a lot more comfortable. Otherwise, it's upright like this, and then you can recline it, which is such a good thing. But center passenger, he never gets ahead. Yeah, he's so freaking unfortunate. There's no space here. Don't worry. Now it has got something known as the boss mode, which Hyundai likes to call weirdly as the walk-in device. I don't even know what that means, but technically they call the boss mode as the walk-in device. There I can move the seat ahead. I can actually recline it as well. That's a feature which has come from the Alcazar. So is this tray, which can hold up to 3.5 kgs, and you can put your iPad here. So trays on both the sides. Such a practical thing with cup holders on the side, which is so freaking cool as well. Yeah, that's just there on one side. Cannot be there on both the sides. Where's the cup holder here? There is the cup holder. Yeah, that's nice. Height adjustable seat belts, 6 airbags. There's a handle to hold on to. Light placement here. This is not damped, so it goes back with no resistance, but it's revolting there. Bas karo mere saath. Meanwhile, this has been scooped out now for better knee room, but leg room, knee room and all is very good. Under thigh support is not the best, and you get a magazine holder here. It obviously has this green treatment on the mats because electric now. Some storage space here, 2 USB-C charging sockets, rear AC vents have been given. Meanwhile, Isofix child seat mounts, center armrest with twin cup holders, and headroom seems to be adequate enough. The dashboard is very similar to the regular Creta. However, the steering wheel is all freaking new, which has been done obviously. Why? Because it has to be different from the regular Creta now. Did I tell you about the height adjustable seat belts? I don't know. I'm losing count of what I'm talking about. Anyways, door pockets I've already mentioned, big enough. Doors don't open 90 degrees. Tick that. Nobody, because Tata Ultros does it. But that's not important. What's important is that Hyundai has added so many features now. I can't even trace the number of features. 32 features to be precise. And all of a sudden, it is starting to rain. So we're going to get into the car really quickly. Now, if you notice one thing, power adjust seats were always there. However, now it's got the memory function, and this feature is actually coming from where? It is obviously coming from the Alcazar. So yeah, I can move it 8-way. By the way, the co-passenger seat also gets the power function. Yeah, there you see the seat is moving. I press a button and then I can move the seat because of these buttons here. It is one touch up down for the driver's side only. Illumination only for the driver's side too. Door pockets are big enough here. The color scheme has been changed. It has sort of a navy blue scheme now. And there's a magnet here wherein you can stick stuff if you want. It says Creta Electric on the carpet or the mat. You get a proper dead pedal. That's the fuse box. You get EV start stop here. EV has been written here. This green surround, downhill assist, hill assist control, traction control, parking sensors, headlight leveler, all has been given right there. And it has this welcome feature also. So when you turn on the car, it will move ahead and behind and all that. The center console has been changed. So it has a free floating center console with a lot more storage space. Yeah, there's a lot more space here. And this has been revised as well. So a new charging pad here for the wireless charger with NFC, because it has got the NFC key function wherein you just have to tap your phone here or your smart watch, and then the car will unlock, and then you place your phone right in the center for the car to turn on as well. Now, I can keep yapping before that. Let me quickly plug in my sponsor for today, Involve Your Senses. You just have to put this tag right here. It fits in, and then all you need to do is just spray it twice like this, okay? Just spray it twice. And now the smell in the cabin is just mind-blowing. It's just awesome. Okay, the smell is super duper nice. Yeah, the car feels like new. Because it is new, let me remove this plastic as well and put it inside this place. So cool glove box was always there in this car. Meanwhile, the first aid kit feels a bit cheap, and you have like 500 pages to read through here, and obviously a manual for the electric infotainment system, because a couple of new features have been added. Before that, let me show you, it has got electric adjust here for the co-passenger as well. Let's shut the door, turn off the lights, automatic headlights as well. And this cluster is a 10.25-inch unit, blind view monitor, such a cool feature. It has got 19 ADAS features. Obviously, I love the blind view monitor, and it also has the blind view alert on the outside rear view mirrors. The steering is new. There's no Hyundai logo here because it has got 4 dots for the Morse code for H, and that's something which has come from the Ioniq. What else has come from the Ioniq is this particular thing, which I don't know how to show it to you, but you know, you get the drill. This is shift by wire. This is how you get into drive. This is how you get into reverse, and this is how you get into park. And they have actually removed the gear lever from here. Instead, we have it right there, which is in line with other Hyundai electric models. Another change which has happened is the buttons from here have gone here, and the buttons from here have gone here. So they have swapped the buttons. Yeah, Akshay Kumar is looking at it. And these are actually the controls for the audio system. This is for that particular screen, and also for the ADAS functions. Obviously, it has got adaptive cruise control, auto dimming mirror here. It says BlueLink because it has got 70 BlueLink features, connected car features. It has got voice commands, I think 260 or some voice commands, and there are 132 Hindi voice commands as well. A heads-up display should have been offered. Sound mood lamps should have been offered, although they are better ambient lighting here, because right here you get ocean blue ambient lighting. But not only here, you also get it here along with here. The regular Creta only gets it here in yellow, and the N-Line gets it here in red. That's it. But now you've got more ambient lighting, which is quite cool. Twin cup holders, electric parking brake, auto hold, and this is for the camera function. This is the drive mode. Traction modes are not there in this car, and seat ventilation buttons, which were somewhere there, have been given right here. So there's a change in position of a few things because it doesn't have to accommodate the transmission. They have made changes to give it more space right here. In fact, there is a cooling function right here for the storage right below the front center armrest as well. So that has been added too, which is good. And I think the car is on, so we're just going to turn on the air conditioning. And I'm a bit disappointed that they have changed this panel because now it is more touch sensitive. The regular Creta actually has buttons here, which is so much better and easier to use. Dual zone climate control, air conditioning system. I've currently synced this, so let me remove the sync from here. I can change it because of the dual zone. It has a driver only mode. Why does it need a driver only mode? Because if only the driver is driving, then the air conditioning will only blow air to the driver, thereby saving energy. It's electric, right? It has to save as much energy as possible, but this touch sensitive has just lost me. Meanwhile, the continuous AC vent running treatment has been given here. There's a speaker right there. I don't know what that is, but there's something lying there. I think it's a mosquito. Yeah, can you see that? It's somewhere, yeah, inside. I don't know how it reached right there. Anyways, there is no mirror here. Why, Hyundai, why? Meanwhile, there is a mirror here, but there is no light. There's a sunglass holder right there, and let me open this with love because this will open the sun blind of the panoramic sunroof. This has always been there in the Creta with the second generation model, and obviously in the electric it continues to be there. It's something which is amazing because it brings in so much airiness and light into the cabin. This is max, it opens. I'm just going to shut it. Okay, I didn't want to close the sun blind, but only one switch to operate all this means that things don't work as per how I want them to work. So let me open it again. Meanwhile, what else are we talking about? Yes, there are paddles for region. This is to decrease the region. This is to increase the region. There are 4 region modes here. And the good thing is that this cluster is very slick to operate. So this is a 10.25-inch unit, which has the usual bits like valet mode, quiet mode, phone projection, but there is still no Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity wireless. It is wired. You need to connect it with the USB-A. There's a USB-C for charging, but not for the connectivity with the phone projection. 12-volt charging socket. So they're given almost everything possible under the sun here with respect to the kind of charging options. But why is there no wireless still, which is quite baffling to me. Anyways, there's voice memo, there's Geo Savan as well, which is complimentary for 1 year, worth 750 rupees. And there is the BlueLink, which is complimentary for 3 years, post which you have to start paying for it. Obviously, the maps look really very nice and cool. The quality of the screen is just amazing. There's a valet mode, and the new bits are an EV mode right here, which gives you an EV specific display, wherein you can get into V2L as well, which is vehicle to load, which also shows you the display here when vehicle to load is functioning, which actually makes me wonder, how do you use the V2L when you're inside the car? Because outside the car, obviously, it goes into the charging port. Inside the car, it has to be done from here. So there is a proper socket right here to use the V12 function, which is very similar to the Ioniq 5. In fact, a lot of stuff is coming from the Ioniq 5, like the active cooling flaps, and obviously this particular thing, which is NSFW. It obviously has LVDA too, because it has got level 2 ADAS. This cube type display for the instrument cluster is a EV specific thing, which can be changed by going into this menu, which means I have to get into settings. Yeah, it's a bit of an effort to go and change it. So I'm just going to come into the theme here, and I'm going to select link to drive mode. When I do that, you see, whenever I change the drive mode, it actually changes the cluster mode, which is the same as a regular Creta. Only thing is, there's no tachometer here. There's the power and charge meter right there. It obviously has a tire pressure monitoring system, so I can browse through this screen because it shows me a lot of information, including a compass. There is the tire pressure monitor. In fact, I like the fact that I can split the screen. So I was showing you the EV specific mode. There's another thing called in-car payment, wherein I have the option to find a charger near me, and there are 1150 chargers which support Hyundai's in-car payment, because there's Hyundai Pay, with which you can keep money in the wallet and pay through the car itself, which is quite fantastic. Yeah, this is a feature which is just lovely. And then I can split the screen here, wherein I can see what's the range, what's the battery like. I can actually see sports information. I can see the calendar. There are 3 compass modes as well. So very nicely done infotainment screen, and this is one of the major reasons why people will buy this car over the Mahindra Twins. I will talk about that later. Let's come into the 360-degree parking camera, because it's fantastic in terms of quality. You've got multiple modes here for the camera. There's a top view, there's a bottom view, there's a side view, there's obviously a bird's eye view. There's no sunroof in this particular car, at least in this particular display. Otherwise, there's obviously a sunroof. Now, the interesting part is, let me get into first out of the camera. Let me get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It obviously has adaptive guidelines. And now once I come into drive, it actually shows me a top view here, which is quite nice. The camera quality is just amazing here. Another good thing about this infotainment system is the fact that you can set your own buttons. So if I come into settings, I can decide what this button should do. And you know what? There are so many options. I can decide whether I want the weather, whether I want blue link, sports, driver assistance, voice commands, and privacy mode. So many things can be changed. I'll just keep it at EV mode at the moment. This is obviously auto dimming. There are 268 voice commands, which somehow not working right now. If I say hello blue link, she doesn't respond. She's gone for a nap, I believe. Meanwhile, the seats are actually made of recycled corn extracts and recycled plastic bottles, and it even has the Creta Electric branding right there. But how is this to drive? Because this is electric at the end of the day. Is it as exciting as, say, the regular Creta? Because obviously the regular Creta is not as exciting, and there the seat is moving behind. It says check rear seats for passenger belongings. Oh my god, the seat has gone almost to the boot. That's the amount it moves every time I log in, unlock the vehicle, and then I'm going to turn on the car. And then you will notice one thing, it does this full swipe thing. There's a welcome sound as well, and it says ready to drive. So let's start driving right away. Time to start driving. Before that, let's adjust the steering wheel, which is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. And this is a Hyundai car, so obviously it has a gimmick called Sounds of Nature. When I get into media, I can activate it. Yeah, there it is activated. City at dawn, rainy day. Why do I need a rainy day in the infotainment system? When it is actually raining, I can hear the sound from outside itself. A summer night's restaurant, all these gimmicks, I don't know why, unnecessary stuff. Anyways, the good part here is that you can actually go ahead and search for EV charging stations. That's right. And there are more than 10,000 of them listed, telling you exactly what is the power output, which is quite amazing. Yeah, you can simply do that, which is, I think, a game-changing thing, because you can actually pay from the infotainment system with Hyundai Pay, and that's known as the in-car payment, which is fantastic. Anyways, I am just going to navigate right now to the place I want to go to, which is basically the hotel. And let's just, okay, route is active. I've already activated that route. How do I get into that route? Maybe into the map menu. There it activates, and there it is. It's fantastic. And I've also activated something known as the battery consumption mode, which shows me how the whole battery system and the electric system is working. Let's come into the 0 to 100 km/h timing mode, which is of no use right now. Air conditioning is off. I straight away come into the sport mode. I turn off traction control as well. I keep pressed so that not only traction control, but ESC also gets disabled. And straight away we come into drive. If I press it once again now, it will say the gear is already selected. What gear are you talking about, bro? It's not a gear, it's just a mode, because electric cars obviously gearless, unless and until you're talking about the Ioniq 5N, which obviously has simulated gear shifts. Now let's see how fast this car goes. Let me turn on the wipers because it's raining cats and dogs, so we're not going to get an accurate time, but no harm in trying, obviously, which means left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, indicator off, full throttle, and off we go. Just wheel spin and more wheel spin, which is, oh my god, tires screeching, which has robbed away the acceleration timing, because 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is taking 9 seconds due to the rain. Otherwise, Hyundai actually claims that this car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 7.9 seconds. Let me turn on the camera mode here. Camera's getting dirty because of the water spray. So this car's beautiful blind view monitor is just amazing. Even in the rain, I can see a good view of what's around because of the speed. Now the water gets splashed out of the camera and doesn't really hinder visibility from this mode, which is quite nice. Now it has got 2 freaking battery packs, because Hyundai is like, the bigger battery is the long range, which is a 51.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is in this car. They call it the long range. The short range is actually having a 42 kilowatt hour battery pack. In terms of power output, this one produces 171 PS of power, and the smaller battery makes 135 PS of power. But both these cars are having the exact same 255 Newton meters of torque, which is good because it is all about the torque rush. Okay, instant acceleration, because that's the nature of an EV car. So when you get onto the throttle, it does not hesitate at all. It pushes you back into the seat and goes ahead with a lot of enthusiasm. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 7.9 seconds here. With the smaller battery with lesser power, 36 PS lesser power, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 9 seconds, which is not bad. Top speed for both the cars, I think, is 173 kilometers per hour. I think it has been restricted to 180 kilometers per hour on the speedo. With the speedo error, you get 173 kilometers per hour. Creta owners here chilling together. The claim range here is 473 kilometers. The smaller battery pack has a claim range of 390 kilometers. So in the real world, you will almost touch 400 kilometers here with sane driving. Meanwhile, in the smaller battery, you will get around 300 kilometers, which is not great. So get the long range. Obviously, there's no point getting the shorter range. And because I'm in a Creta, there's a mandatory thing which you need to do. You need to pull this lever 7 times and then press this 5 times, and then you are a certified Creta driver. Okay, I'm just joking. How fast does this car charge? Well, if you charge it with a 50 kilowatt DC charger, it takes 4 hours 50 minutes to top up the battery of this car. No, that is actually with the AC charging, 11 kilowatt AC charging which comes with this car. 4 hours 50 minutes, or it takes 4 hours for the smaller battery. Meanwhile, with DC now, it's the same time for both the smaller and the bigger battery, which means 58 minutes to go from 10 to 80% at a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger. Meanwhile, they have not yet activated the 100 kilowatt DC fast charger option. Although that will be done with the software update, times will drop to 39 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. Remember, I was talking about 10 to 100% for the AC charging, because that's how it's measured. Meanwhile, for DC, it's measured between 10 to 80%, because post 80% speed obviously drops. So nobody really wants to talk about how fast does it charge all the way till 100%. And usually they say don't DC charge your car past 80%. Not that it will destroy the battery. It is purely so that others get a chance to charge their cars. Now, Tata Motor customers, are you listening? With your EVs, please give others also a chance to charge the car. Which actually brings me to the battery pack of this car. It's a lithium-ion battery, liquid-cooled battery. It's an NMC battery. It's not an LFP. So it has higher density, but LFP is more suited to the Indian climate. But Hyundai is like, NMC is being used by most premium brands, like obviously the VW group uses it, then Tesla uses it, Mercedes uses it, because those cars are usually sold largely in colder environments. Ours is a hot climate, right? So we need an LFP battery pack, but Hyundai Kia doesn't do LFPs. They only do NMC throughout the group. It actually brings me to the fact that a lot of components have been imported. So, I mean, not really imported, but have been brought in from global Ioniq models, like the battery management system and some of the components and all. But this car is developed for India. It will be exported as well. The brakes of this car are actually decent. In fact, nosedive is well contained because the suspension is okay. Let's do some water splashy first. Oh, okay, aquaplaning. So the thing is, the suspension has been stiffened because of the weight of the battery. The battery obviously increases the weight of the car, and naturally they had to stiffen the suspension a bit, because of which the ride seems a bit firm, but it's still compliant enough. The steering has no feel or feedback as such. It weighs up decently well at speed, but it's not a very responsive steering wheel. It's not a car which will really put a smile on your face. But the Creta has never been a car which is about driving enthusiasm. It's about being no nonsense. It's about being reliable. It's about being efficient with the diesel, obviously. So this car is all of that. It is purely about peace of mind, where this car will definitely excel, which actually makes me want to quickly change this to the navigation mode because I don't know where I have to go next. So the thing is that Hyundai is like, we have more space on the inside when compared to competitor C and competitor Z, which is obviously competitor Curvv, and the other competitor is the MG ZS EV. So they're not really comparing it with the Mahindra twins, but the Mahindra twins are having rear wheel drive. This is front wheel drive. The Mahindra twins are having much bigger batteries, 59 and 79 kilowatt hour battery packs, and obviously more power as well, and a lot of features too, but the pricing is on the higher side. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, Mahindra is giving us a revolutionary car. But remember one thing, Hyundai is all about no nonsense reliable product, which this car is, with more electronics, more things which can go wrong. That's one of the major reasons why Hyundai is able to sell Creta in such great numbers, even though there are bigger cars available with more power at sort of similar price range. I'm talking about, say, the Harrier, the Safari, the XUV700, as well as the Scorpio. And there it's telling me collision warning because the ADAS system works really very aggressively. And what does the ADAS have? It has forward collision warning, it has got automatic emergency braking, it has got lane departure warning, it has got lane keep assist, it obviously has rear cross traffic alert. It has all those features, which is quite amazing. However, this car has obviously LVDA, which I can't pronounce right now, which is leading vehicle departure alert. In case you stop at a signal and the other car moves ahead, it will remind you that the car you were following has moved ahead. So that's something which really aids kidnappers to plan kidnapping better. I'm just kidding. It's a very nice feature to have, and that's something which Hyundai Kia does really well because the ADAS system works phenomenally well here. And now they've also paired the ADAS system to the regen, which means just like how it works in BMWs, the ADAS system, in case the car ahead is braking, this car will automatically increase the regen. And there are 4 levels. So I'm on level 1. With the right pedal, I can turn off the regen. With the left pedal, I can increase the regen to maximum, which turns on something known as I pedal, which means when I leave the throttle, the car will decelerate very fast, almost coming to a halt. Not almost, it comes to a halt. So you can drive with 1 pedal. So that also has been done really very nicely. Now, I was telling you about the regen modes. Well, that is important because it's about putting charge back into the battery, making the car as efficient as possible, because this is not born electric. Unlike the Mahindra twins, which are born electric, this is not born electric, and it is actually a fantastic plan of not giving us born electric, which actually makes me want to change the cluster mode to the normal one. I love this cluster mode, but I've come into the normal drive mode, which obviously dulls the power slightly. You can feel that, and we're just going to, oh, look at that red thing it is telling me because that Honda City is overtaking, because that's the rear cross traffic alert here. So they have linked the ADAS system there. Now it has something known as V2L, vehicle to load. It works with a 400 volt architecture, just like how it does with the Tata Nexon EV as well. So what does it exactly do? Basically, it lets you charge other devices from the car's battery. You can also charge other cars, and obviously it works really nicely because it's something which has been tried and tested by the Hyundai group. The Ioniq 5 has it, and the Ioniq 5 has an 800 volt architecture. Here it's running a 400 volt architecture because it's also about the pricing one, right? Now, because it's an electric, it obviously doesn't have any sound as such, which is a bit of a problem. However, at lower speeds, there's this mandatory sound which has to come to alert the pedestrians, and it's a bit faint, the sound, but it's known as the virtual engine sound system. And because this car has a IP67 rated battery pack, which is the industry norm, it is water resistant. And then because it is having a battery, not an engine, the weight has increased by 166 kgs. So the weight of this car is 1577 kgs. It doesn't feel that heavy. So 166 kgs more than the Creta diesel. You don't feel this car to be heavier. Somehow it is just like a Creta to drive, which is decently fun because the Creta has not been a very engaging car to drive, but it's no nonsense. It has more feel than a regular electric car like, say, the MG ZS EV or even the Windsor, or if you want to take this one, yaar, kaun si gaadi hai jiski main burai hamesha kehta tha, Tata Nexon EV or the Curvv EV. The Curvv EV is the real direct competitor of this car. This car comes with the 11 kilowatt AC charger. Not really, you have to pay for the charger because Hyundai is like, many people are like, हमें charger मत दो, हमें नहीं ज़रूरत है, हम ऑफिस में चार्ज कर लेंगे and all. So हमारे वो पैसे काट दो. So Hyundai is like, एक काम करते हैं हम, आपको चार्जर ही देंगे. आपको चार्जर चाहिए ना, you have to pay additional for the charger. Let me come into the eco drive mode. Instantly I felt the power to drop quite a lot. And obviously the battery comes with the industry standard 8-year 1.6 lakh kilometer warranty, which along with 3-year standard warranty, which is unlimited kilometer warranty for the vehicle, which can be extended all the way to 7 years. In fact, the charger also comes with a 3-year warranty, which is good. I think they're sourcing the charger from Static. Static is a company from which they're actually sourcing the charger. I think the weather is improving a bit, and that's the reason why the automatic wipers have stopped working at the moment. Yeah, rain sensing wipers is a Creta Electric exclusive, something which the Seltos obviously offers, but this should have been a great way of offering more features which the Creta initially missed out on. which the Seltos obviously offers. So let's do one thing, let's stop here and let's launch the car yet again, because at the end of the day, if the road is kind of dried up, then we can go pedal to the metal and give it the beans. Before that, let me quickly get out of this menu and we are going to change the cluster mode. Firstly, I'm going to come into the sport drive mode, and here is the settings, layout, and we come into the cube thing. I don't like the cube thing. In fact, notice one thing, okay, when I change the mode also here now, it changes colors initially. Yeah, there it becomes red and then it becomes the standard thing, which it always is, which I don't like much. And I'm just going to come into the navigation menu because I don't know exactly where I'm going. So I have to be in the map right now. Come on, activate. Let's reset this as well. What is that? It sounded like a Hayabusa and it turned out to be a TVS XL100, I believe. So with 51% battery, it says 194 km of range, which is not great, but left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Wheel spin, just wheel spin, just wheel spin. Front wheel drive, that's the thing. Everybody turning around and saying, what the hell is happening? That's the thing with front wheel drive. 0 to 100 in 8.7 seconds. So in terms of acceleration, well, the fastest Creta was earlier the N-Line, or you can say the 1.5 turbo manual, which goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 8.9 seconds. So this is still faster in the wet condition as well. And it has a lot of grunt. You get into the throttle, it accelerates with a lot of enthusiasm, but there is body roll. You can feel the roll. It's quite a lot of body roll. In fact, the home charger, which is a wall charger, is actually a smart charger. With the My Hyundai app, you can actually do a few things. You can go and see the way it's working, you can start charge, you can pause charge, you can do all that as well. What Hyundai has done is they have done a lot of tests with the battery. They dropped the battery from I think 16 feet to see if the battery breaks or not, and apparently the car passed there. Then they also submerged the battery for 30 minutes in 1 meter of water. That's 1000 mm of water. So the battery came out well there also. There's a battery heating function which ensures that the battery can function up to temperatures of minus 35 degrees, and they also claim that this car has 40% gradability too. They've actually made changes to the structure. So the top structure is the same as the regular Creta, but the lower structure is new obviously because it has to accommodate a battery. But they are saying that they have added more high tensile steel and ultra high tensile steel. In fact, they're saying almost 75% of it is that material to ensure that the car is more safer. And there are 52 standard safety features in this car. There are 75 advanced safety features in this car. Now again, it depends on the variant. 3-year roadside assistance is complimentary with the car, and you can opt for a 5-year maintenance package as well. And Hyundai is like, we are going to change the game by offering people, okay, there's someone in my spot because of the rear cross traffic alert I can see. So Hyundai is like, they're going to set up a lot of fast charging stations with 3 guns, 30 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt. No, 150 kilowatt actually. This can do max 100 kilowatt there. I can see this, says someone there right behind. So this is so good now. I'm telling you, trust me on it. The ADAS system is phenomenal. So like I was telling you, multiple guns they're setting up, and they're saying there'll be marshals to ensure there's no misuse, and they will ensure that everybody will be able to charge their car, not only just Hyundai customers, but Hyundai customers will get a ₹2 discount for charging their cars. The problem is they've opened it to fleet operators, and fleet operators have a field day sitting at the charging station and charging the car all day long. So that is one bit of a problem. Don't open it to fleet operators. Fleet operators have a lot of other options, and we know the biggest problem is with Tigor EV and Nexon EV, because they almost block almost all the charging guns, and the BMS system is such there are always faults happening, because of which charging takes much longer, thereby blocking the charging station for a longer duration of time. That is a bit of an issue. But right now they have 20 operational stations like this, which they say they will take to 600 in the next 7 years, which is insane. And they're saying right now also they have the biggest charging network for an OEM, original equipment manufacturer, like a car brand. But I think Maruti Suzuki is going to definitely beat them, because Maruti Suzuki has such a big wide network of dealerships and touch points. Once they start putting chargers in their dealerships and touch points now, that is going to be absolutely game changing. So with 11 kilowatt AC charging, they are going to put it across 119 dealers. They're going to have at least 295 chargers, and I'm stuck in a traffic jam. Just to remind you once again, I did not apply the brakes. Look at me, okay? I left the throttle, the car automatically stops. That is one pedal driving for you. iPedal definitely works really well. I don't like this cube, it's so weird. But I love the way the cluster has this split to tell me exactly which road I should be on. Okay, finally out of the traffic jam. Now the big USP of this car is that Hyundai has gone ahead and mapped 10,000 plus chargers on the My Hyundai app, and also I think on the infotainment system, which means that finding a charger is not difficult. And the other collision warning. And the other good bit is that you don't need to register every time for a new company's charger, which was a pain because then you would end up putting money in wallet and it was time consuming. Oh my god, wheel spin. Yeah, it was really time consuming as well, because once you reach a charging point you've not used before, first you download the app, then you register, put your vehicle details, put money in the wallet, and by that time it's already 10-15 minutes done and dusted. Here with the My Hyundai app, you don't have to go, oh no, never ever do such a thing. Okay, yeah, so you don't have to go through the whole hassle of doing that because you can just do it from the My Hyundai app. That's something which is definitely going to be game changing. 10,000 plus chargers, if that works now, that will really make a huge difference, because in 2023 only 90,000 EVs were sold. In 2024 there was an expectation that more than 3-4 lakh EVs will be sold, but around 1,10,000 EVs were sold. That's it. And this year they have an expectation of selling 4 lakh EVs. Again, it's going to be a bit difficult because, let me be honest, as a consumer, if I walk into a Hyundai showroom and I'm like, I want to buy the Creta EV, I see the Creta diesel standing there, I see the Creta petrol standing there, I will be like, I'll get that instead. And same is the case with Mahindra as well, because when you go to a Mahindra dealership, you realize that the B6E, or rather the B6 and the XEV 9E cost more than the Scorpio and Thar Roxx and the 700. Three very good cars. Then why would you buy an EV? Just to save costs? Well, when you go for DC charging, it's not cheap. Costs become double of charging, but still it's cheaper when compared to a petrol car. But a diesel is a freaking diesel. I've been driving a Creta diesel. It returns 20 freaking kilometers per liter. I fill once and I forget about it for the whole freaking month. That's how efficient it is. But as an EV, this is going to be game changing because it's going to eat the curve. The curve is going to be I can't say dead on arrival because it's been arrived some time back. But yeah, the curve is going to face the music now because the Creta is a very reliable, proven product, and with EV now it is the best in the segment quite easily. Now let's see what happens with the Maruti Suzuki e-Vitara, because the charging would be quite game changing there. Which also brings me to the fact that 11 lakh Cretas have been sold, and Hyundai has also made a club for EV owners. So if you have an Ioniq 5 or a Kona or a Creta Electric or an XC40 Recharge or any other Volvo Electric, then you can be, no, you can't be part of the group if you have a Volvo. Although somehow it's weird how the community or the club is known as Evolvers. Yeah, you get that? You get that? And on that disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been long, but I quite enjoyed driving this car. The only thing is it's an EV, and you know, EVs don't have the soul, but Creta Electric is something which is no nonsense, and that's the reason why it's going to sell in great numbers. Now let me get back into my character of being a Creta driver, which means